This, good readers, is the Korua Tranny Finder 154, and it's been heavily demoed, and beaten on by a lot of people for a long time. So it's not a beautiful little board here, but it's a very unique board. It kind of really borders on that freeride world and kind of that shorter, fatter, surfier world. And it's kind of interesting because the 57, like when you look at all the specs and everything, kind of matches more maybe what I should ride weight-wise and height-wise. Yet I had so much more fun on this 54, and it's still very wide and very doable, but you can see there's a lot more nose going on than tail. It's a very short, very mellow tail. It's a pretty directional board, and it's got a significant amount of taper, as you can see. Has a traditional side cut, not much going on there, but great edge hold. Whatever they're doing well, and it feels ready to ride right when you get on snow. I didn't really have to play around with the taper. I mean, with detuning it. And then, you know, you've got kind of the standard inserts. And it always says, happiness lies in the process of finding your matching shape. In this process, there's no right or wrong, nor a goal, since every character has different forms, and every form has different characters. May you never find your perfect shape. Love that. But you can see here, even just beaten down, used and abused for, you know, many a day by many a riders. This was given to me, not given to me, but sent to me to review for an extended demo, courtesy of Evo and Korua. And so I got some time on the 54, and although I didn't have the 57 at the same time, compared the two, and it was interesting how much I love the 54 so much more. And you can see it has this kind of cool camber that goes all the way off the tail to just a little bit past the bindings that they call float camber, and then you have just this kind of like low nose that doesn't kink up too much, so it's got good plane and floats well, with a little bit of, you know, like you can kind of see here, it starts well before the nose. So you get some really good directional float, and you have a really good setback on board too. And let's get into this. There isn't technically a reference stance, but this kind of looks like it, because they have a reference stance marker here, but not over here. But the reference stance is 21.5, if that's what it is, and it looks about right. And then if you want to set it all the way back, you're looking at 21.75, which is very doable for a 54. So then using traditional discs, you're looking at 23. And then just about 16, maybe a little less, maybe 15.75. So that's 4.25, that's 7.25 back on board. Yeah, that's just about 7.25 back on board, which is pretty far back for a board like this. Not massively back. That's not like in that like short, fat, surfy realm where it's massively back, but you can get some really good directional float. And I rode this in some powder, and this little 54 floated incredibly well. You know, but you got all that nose and so little tail, but you know, and then you've got all that taper. The combination of those things, along with the early rise, really make this float well. You know, the base I just love, because it's just like this kind of like reddish orange, kind of like a I don't know, like the red in a big stick popsicle. And hopefully the camera's picking it up correctly, but it's just so easily repairable, so simple, so well done, that it's very doable. So all in all, the Korua Tranny Finder is one of those boards that has a weird name, but really does a good job being what it is, finding transitions, getting air. It's got a lot of tail. It can, it can do a lot of things pretty well. And it's a nice board for those who occasionally ride switch, but really want that tapered more off the back foot or on the, back foot heavy type of ride that requires a little more weight, but it carves, it pops, it drives. It's a very fun board,